Good evening, everybody. It's Wally here. I I know I said that I was gonna make you suffer by recording when the noise was on today, but you know what? I couldn't handle it myself. I I ended up stuffing tissue in my ears and taking a mild sedative, just half of a tablet that I get on online with a doctor in Dubai. It sounds impressive, doesn't it? But it's just one of the things that I do. I you can get a lot of things online, and you go through a doctor, and this one's in Dubai, and if they okay your prescription, they fax it through to a chemist in UK who sends it you from UK. Now, that's perfectly legal. It's perfectly legal because you're seeing a doctor, doesn't matter that he's a Dubai doctor, and he okays the prescription, and you pay, and it comes through the post within 2 days. That's remarkable, isn't it? So I don't buy Valiums anymore because they're a bit strong for me now, and I'm not fussy on them anymore. I don't like them. They make me too tired, which is, I get, what they called, Zimmervanes, not Zimmervane, something with a Zimmo, not the Zimmervane. And they're quite nice. I like those. I think they call them Ambien in the States. And I took one of those today and I fell asleep. I think that's the answer because I can't stand it. And oh, thank you to the lady. What's her name? Oh gosh, I gotta remember now. Hold on, I've got to find that name. I must. Here I am. Her name's Mary S. I won't say her surname because, well, all sorts of things happen. Thank you very, very much for the money. I know people send me money, and people ask me how do they send me money. I I don't ask for money anymore. I used to put my details in the back. I just feel embarrassed asking for things off people because I mean, most of us are pensioners. Some of us are richer than others because we had good jobs beforehand. I did have a good job with Mars Bars, and I did have a private pension, but it wasn't very much. I took it as a lump sum, and I spent that on my teeth when my teeth needed doing. But I, I, I do get a reasonable pension, well, the government pension, whatever that is. And I think I get the long term one because even though I had the parlour, my accountant and well, he asked me, did I want to do it? And I said, of course. I paid all my stamps right up to date. So I was always eligible for the top amount of pension. So if that's what I'm judged on, then yeah, I am rich. It's not as much as people think. And every time I read in the paper that they're gonna do something to the pension and they've got the permission to go into your bank accounts, I get really nervous because why should we worry about pension when you're our age? Anyway, enough about that. Thank you for the money, Mary S. I'm really grateful for it. And she said, perhaps you can use this money to get away for a couple of days, away from the noise. I'd love to. And yes, I could. But I wouldn't leave my. Oh, I can't. How can I leave my cat? He's my life. He's everything to me. He's gone out again tonight. He's on his. He's disappeared, but he'll be back. He'll be back. And the fleas, I've given him 3 flea treatments. And then I was talking to Avid and I said, he's got fleas back again. She said, oh, they take a while to clear up. The vet told me they don't go like straight away. So I got 6 cans or 4 cans of flea spray for the carpets and furniture. And I've got a very expensive one as well that I paid about 15 quid. And I'll be spraying him with that when I can catch him, but I only if it says so on the tin. But he's all right. But the trouble is now he's over grooming because of the fleas, and he loves the flea comb. So I put the flea comb through him, and then of course the fleas jump off the flea comb and onto me, and I've been scratching. Oh God. And don't worry, it's only because the summer's here. They'll all be gone in the winter, I'm sure of it. Now, I got to tell you, there's a lot going on at the moment about Prince Andrew. You know this, don't you? Because Fiona will have said earlier on. Prince Andrew had a black eye in the July of 2017. And that was the time when Harry met Meghan, or so they say. And he well, Fiona showed me the picture. I didn't even know about this. I was shocked. But she was looking for a picture, and it was a picture of Harry and Meghan at the same event, but they were poles apart. But I've got a picture. I found one, and it took me the best part of today. After having my little nap, I spent the rest of the time charging up my old phone and ploughing through, finding something. If somebody says to me, have you got a picture of, I can usually say, yes, I have, because I've been screenshotting and saving things since 2017. I haven't thrown anything away. I've got new phones and I've kept the old phones. But I tell you, I did suck some of the stuff out onto a memory card, and I sucked an awful lot off the memory of my phone to make it more room. Not my phone, the tab that I use. And I went to suck some more off and fill it up a bit more, and it said, you've got to format this memory stick. I thought, now you tell me. I've already, and I didn't copy it onto the memory card. I moved it up, so they're no longer on my phone. So, because I thought I was home and dry. So now, if I format the memory stick, I lose everything. So there's a big gap in my history, my stuff. Meghan will be pleased about that, I'm sure, but I've got everything. And I found the picture that Fiona wanted. I haven't sent it to her yet because I couldn't transfer it off my old phone. But it is the picture that she wants. And she's convinced that Meghan and Harry knew each other before the official date that they met. I wouldn't, would you be surprised? I wouldn't be surprised because there's so many lies. But there's a lot of truth, I think, in what Fiona says about Andrew and Meghan having met before, because I went into Google and I said, show me pictures of Prince Andrew and Meghan Markle together. And all I found was, let me just get this, two pictures I found. Wait there, where are they? There's one. He doesn't look happy, does he? And there's one other. Wait there, I'll find it now. Oh, sorry, I'm all the way up here. Oh, that's the one. There's no other one. No, that was the only one Fair enough, that's the only one that is on record. And they didn't speak, obviously. And I found this from a birthday of 3 years ago. From the Mega Narcissist on Twitter. But anyway, I was going through all my old stuff on my old phone. 2022. My God, I didn't have put up with some crap. There was Boozy taking me down, even gloating about it and saying, down you go, here you go again. And the reason was, I think, is that his daughter had 2 Twitter accounts and she was putting up porn. There's no other word for it, porn. But I'm not going to put it up again because it caused me a lot of trouble. People can say, who the hell are you hypocrite, or whatever they want to say to me. I don't care. Bonnie Blue, you know that woman that claimed, or did it, shagged 1,000 men in a day. I think she's disgusting. I really do. I don't think she realises the damage that she's doing to her own mental health. She will eventually bitterly regret that. I'm sure she will. I'm positive she will. And as far as kids, I mean, this daughter of Boozy, she's in her 20s, but she looks very young. She was putting porn up on Twitter, and I think that's awful, disgusting. I wouldn't let anybody that I cared about do that, because once you've put it up on the internet, it's there for life. Bonnie Blue, there for life. It's not just that it's there for life, it's how you feel about it, how you feel about yourself. Most of the women that I employed, they had a reason to be there, and it's always good. I like them to be no boyfriend. Single mums obviously are fine. And they were working for their children to boost their money a bit. There's nothing wrong with that. And to practice safe sex and all of that. That's perfectly fine. That's the people that are really the best at the job. They just want to get in, get their money, but at the same time, don't be bloody rude. Some of the girls that worked for me hated men. I understand why they hate men. I have difficulties with men because I've seen them in so many weird, situations, and there's only so much respect you can give men. And I'm sorry, I'm afraid I tat everybody with the same brush towards the end. I used to think, good God, oh. But at the same time, I used to think, well, better that they come into the brothel and talk to one of the girls, agree a fee to do whatever kinky stuff they wanted, and it would be really weird stuff. And then at least they wouldn't be curb crawling the streets hoping to pick someone up, maybe somebody that was underage or somebody that was in a bad position, and at least everybody knew what their job was, what they were getting paid, and everything was above board. And they have the security of the parlour with all the cameras, not in the rooms, outside the rooms, to keep them safe. Whereas if the girls in the parlour didn't do these kinky things, then they would be frustrated, these men, and they'd be looking around for other opportunities to get what they want. What's his name? Prince Andrew, yeah. He's got a very bad reputation. I'm going off the Yorks a lot, because I'm not like Mary Whitehouse. I'm not morally more. I'm not straight-laced at all, but there's a time and a place for everything. And if anybody wants to go on the game, and that means anybody of any age, because one man's meat is another man's poison, I think that the older girls that were working were far better, and they used to get picked far more than the youngsters. It's just the way the parlour worked. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you're in the royal family, people do expect more of you. And the awful thing is that I think I'm morally more sound than Prince Andrew. I think, look at this. One woman he propositioned, this is in the Daily Mail now, about Prince Andrew. She said, he's about as subtle as a hand grenade. His favourite trick was to rub your knee under the table. Oh, he's pathetic. And she said he asked a woman he'd not met before for sex, and she declined. And he said, "Oh, I suppose a blowjob is out of the question then." And he's not a Casanova in the bedroom department. He's a bit of a letdown. He's been dumped by most of the girls linked to him because he's a bore. At a society event in 1992, he reportedly unzipped broadcaster Tanya Breyer's evening dress down the full length of her back. Then, at a dinner party, he allegedly sniffed the pâté served as a first course, turned to his right, saying, "This pâté smells. What do you think?" His female companion leaned forward to smell it, and he promptly pushed her face into the dish. Well, you can guess the type of person he is. He's very childish. I mean, he's got teddy bears. Do you remember that? He had about 30, 40 teddy bears that he used to leave on his bed, and all the maids, he told them exactly, well, I think he gave them a picture of where each teddy bear had to go, like a little map. They had to lay them just right. So he's got a very childish streak in him, and he's got a very immature attitude to sex, hasn't he? He really has. I mean, let's be honest, if somebody rubbed your knee under the table, it's a bit bloody hell. I mean, get a new trick, Andrew. Anyway, that's the way he's been. And then, here we go, another one, look. Emma Greenbum, a masseuse at the Wentworth Golf Club, that's in Sussex, just by Croydon area. Andrew frequented it. He often booked her for massages at the Royal Lodge. Do you know, I never take massages seriously. When people say massages, I just know there's going to be one where the customer's going to want more. They always do. His home on Windsor Park. But she always felt it a bit sleazy, and it was clear he wanted more. He insisted on being naked, and despite her objections, the massage took place in his bedroom. He would try to hug her and ask her about her sex life. Oh, God, what a perv. On one occasion, when she adjusted the table, he remarked, "Hey, nice ass. Do you take it up the, Jaxie?" Come on, that's not very, that's not an intelligent person, is it? It's a very immature way of chatting women up. And anyway, Ghislaine Maxwell and Andrew did have an affair. I read that somewhere. I was just looking to see if Ghislaine. No, I don't know, but I've heard that him and her. I'm not surprised. This is just it. I'm not surprised at anything now. Even though he's a bit of a fumbler, I still think that he got there in the end, And Gouffry was flown around the world. I believe that it happened between Virginia Giuffre. I believe it, but I believe also that she was over the age of consent in the country. She was in Mayfair in London. In London, 16's the legal age. So, but since I found out more about Andrew, I'm beginning to think that he's just, well, worse than that, actually. Fergie's coming into it now. This Robert Lowney, the one that's wrote the book, wrote the book, The Problem. What's the book called now? I can't remember now. Hold on a sec. Let me find it for you. Here you go. I got it for you. Andrew Lowney, entitled The Rise and Fall of the House of York. Now, it's £11 hardcover in Amazon, being released on the 14th, I think. Yeah, 14th. I don't want a hardcover, see. I don't have the sort of home that I keep things, and I don't have a library. And I prefer a soft cover, then at least I can squash it away somewhere. Because once I've read a book, that's really it for me. But I'd like to get that, because this piece that I'm reading in the Daily Mail here, these are excerpts from the book. And I'm actually disappointed beyond belief at the spending of the Duchess of York. She's not even thinking about money as a something that's got to be respected and spent with care. She's wasted so much money. Every night she demanded a whole side of beef, a leg of lamb, and a roast chicken. Her butler got up at 4:30 a.m. to put her watercress on ice. She spent £25,000 in just 1 hour in Bloomingdale's. At one point, she owed up to £4 million to 200 creditors. Just some of the eye-popping claims about Sarah Ferguson's vulgar extravagance as revealed in a sensational new biography of Prince Andrew. That's the book that's coming out on the 14th. And I'm reading this and I'm absolutely disgusted. I thought, well, she was Major Ron Ferguson's daughter. He was in the Guards or something. He was in some sort of military position. And she's got a sister that lives in Argentina, I think. I don't know much more about her, but she's taken to money, and I understand now why Prince Philip didn't talk to her and wouldn't allow her to come to Balmoral. I remember Johnny Bryant when he was photographed, and it was on the front page of the Sun or the Mirror or both, sucking her toes on a holiday. She was still married. Well, she's always still been married to Andrew. And those children of hers, Eugenie particularly, stayed friends with Meghan. And now it could be suggested that Meghan and Andrew have got a little bit of past together. I think it could be. It's very possible. Very possible, because I've looked now and they hardly look at each other, never mind speak to each other. And then there's Andrew with the black eye, and the black eye marries in with when Harry met Meghan. So there's a lot more going to come out. This book has opened the door to criticism or a closer look at the Duke and Duchess of York. And Sarah Ferguson, She rented a house in Cannes for 20,000. I don't know if that was a week or a month. And then she had her butlers and all that to fly out at the sun lounges in a truck, swimming pool toys for the children, 5 extra telephone lines, a daily delivery of Lauren Perrier rose champagne, and her favourite Peligny something at £60 a bottle, often opened and then not drunk. That's wasteful. And the beef and the lamb and the chicken, four of them would sit down for dinner, but after they'd finished eating, there was obviously a lot of meat left. They didn't have it the next day in cold cuts or wrap it in foil and put it in the fridge. They just left it, and the next day it was thrown away. Isn't that terrible? No, I can't justify, I can't even find a reason for that much waste. 3 choices of meat, all big joints cooked, for 4 people. I think is shocking. I'm more upset about the wasting of food than I am about anything. And the fact that she rented a house once in England, and she rented it on a year's tenancy, 5,000 a month, and she never lived in it. So that's 512, that's 60,000 just thrown away down the pan. And without a backward glance. And apparently the Queen had to settle her debts on more than one occasion, going into 6 figures. So that means over 100,000. But she actually owed 4 million at one point. And she wrote the book, Budgie the Helicopter. She was supposed to be doing stuff for charity. And then whoops-a-daisy, 75% of the money for the charity went towards Sarah's expenses. Now, where have we heard that before? You know, charities, the royal family should be above suspicion when it comes to charity work. And I think there's a lot of responsibility placed on William and Catherine, because well, if they ever were found out doing things like this, it would be one step too far, wouldn't it? Nobody would accept the royal family. But we've got Harry and Meghan, we've got Andrew and Fergie. It's sex and money, and excesses and just wasteful behaviour. It's not how we want to see it. You know, even William and Catherine, they won't show off about anything. They keep everything quiet, and we like that, don't we? I like it because I know they probably got really nice furniture and everything's nice. Their heating bills are paid, their clothes are lovely. But you don't want people to rub your nose in it by saying, oh, let's have beef, chicken and lamb for dinner, and then just throw it away afterwards. I would go mad if somebody ever did that in front of me. I can't stand wasting food. Talking about waste, I've got my crazes still on. Oh, I go through crazes when I can't stop eating the same thing. And I only have 1 meal a day now. And I still have 2 sugars in my coffee though, and I can't seem to stop that. And of course, because I haven't got a fridge, I've got to use either Coffee Mate, evaporated milk, or condensed milk, dried milk, Nido dried full-fat milk. I've got a choice of 5. None of them are as good as fresh milk, but I've got to make do with it, and I'm getting quite used to it. But I've cut back on my coffee because I don't really enjoy it as much. And then I sometimes have a bottle of squash. I ordered squash this week, but it was out of stock. And it was pink grapefruit and barley. Oh, that sounded nice, because I love the Robinsons barley. Lemon barley I used to have. They don't do that anymore, but they've got a pink grapefruit barley. I thought I'll have that. Out of stock. I should have ordered orange barley. And they've got an apple and pear barley. I was going to try that, but I fancied it to be I wanted it a bit tart. You know, the pink grapefruit sounded lovely. I'll have another crack at that this week, see if I can get it. And I'm going to buy a lot more fruit. I've bought, what did I buy? Satsumas I bought this week. Tangy and juicy sweet clementine, And guess what? I looked at the label and they've come from South Africa. Clementines from South Africa, 59 millimetres in size. 600 grams, and I paid 97 pence for those, right? And then I thought to myself, hang on a minute, how can they sell them for 90 pence, under a pound, let's say a pound? How can they sell them for a pound when they got to fly them, and they got to fly them because of the freshness, all the way from South Africa? And South Africa is about a 12-hour flight. So they weigh 600 grams. Okay, let's say two of them weigh a kilo. So for 2 bags of oranges, for £2, you can fly a kilo. Now I don't know what I weigh in kilos, but I know I'm quite heavy. I think I'm about 14. No, maybe I'm less now. 12 stone, 11 stone. I don't know. Maybe I'm 200 pounds. Maybe I'm 100 kilos. Maybe I'm 150 kilos. But if I said when I booked my flight, I'm not a person. I'm a Clementine. I'm a Satsuma. I could fly to Britain in the hold where it's lovely and cool, and £2 for a kilo. And if I weigh 150 kilos, if I weighed 150, it would still only cost me 300 quid to fly from South Africa to UK. Actually, be a bit less than that. Could probably get a return ticket. So all you've got to do now is when you book your flights anyway, say, actually, I'm a tangerine. Put me in the hold. No, it's not fair, is it? I think that's favouritism for tangerines. How much stuff comes from abroad? They really shouldn't waste the airfare, you know. But then again, we don't have tangerines in this country. Anyway, there they are there, look all posing. Oh, and there was another one then. Sarah was every other week in Ireland at a stud farm owned by one of Ireland's leading international show jumpers. She wanted to be a show jumper. And what happened? On her first time jumping, the horse tripped, I'm blaming her, and he smashed his foreleg and he was shot immediately. I forgot his name now. Heather Blaze. But the horse lost his footing at the Dublin Horse Show, fell and shattered its left foreleg and was shot on the spot. If that was me, I would never forgive myself. I bet you she didn't even think about the horse. I'm seeing her in a completely different light now. I used to think, oh, poor old Fergie. I even forgave her for the toe sucking with Johnny Bryant. You know, you've got to sort of forgive. But I'm starting to think now, even Eugenie, she's a sly one. Beatrice keeps more out of it, but Eugenie, she's friends with Megan. Megan's had maybe a fling with Andrew. Fergie spends all the money. They're a liability of a family in my book. She's been taking part in gymkhanas under the name of Sally Metcalf. Look at her. Yeah. And I wrote to him as well. I did write to Mohammed Al-Fayed, and he wrote back. I asked him for a signed picture of him, and he sent it me. But this is years ago now, and I've lost so much stuff. What's a picture? It's terrible, and all this was behind a paywall. But I'm paying this $1.99 a month on special offer to get access to it. So I'm going to look at Sarah Ferguson with different eyes now. I really am, and I'm going to buy this book, and I'm going to really enjoy it and I'm thinking to myself, I still miss the Queen. The Queen kept it all together. Prince Philip, he was a wily old sod, but he was lovely, straight talking. You knew where you stood, and the pair of them had a really tight marriage, a good marriage, and you've got to respect that. I loved it. It's the sort of standard that you think, well, maybe in my next life, maybe I will, be able to have a nice life with a nice husband who loves me. And, you never know. We live in hope. I mean, here I am 69 and I still think someday my prince will come. I go on Tinder now and again just to boost my flagging self-esteem a little bit. But my God, the last time I went on Tinder, I met this... he was gorgeous looking, and I fell for him, and he was really handsome. It's on my other phone, his picture. And this Andreas, not Joplin, Hendrix, that's right. I knew it was one of the rock stars. Andreas Hendrix, or Hendrix Andreas. I don't think he knew. That should have been the first red flag. It should have been, shouldn't it? I said, is Andreas your first? And he was Hendrix Andreas. And then I asked him where he lived, because he said he lived in Cardiff. And he said, I live in 67 High Street or something. I thought, he can't live there. That's above a shop like Marks and Spencer's, and they don't rent out those rooms. And then he said that he watched Cardiff City play football. And I thought, little things. And then eventually it just really, he was well, I tell you what happened. He asked me, he was on the MSC Shipping Company, Mediterranean Shipping Company, big barges that go up and down the Panama Canal. And I was believing him. And he had this sailor's outfit on with the 4 flashes across his shoulder. And he says, I've been playing chess with the captain today. I was swallowing it all of it. And then he said that pirates were attacking his ship. And he's got all his family silver and gold and money and his passports and all the stuff in his safe box in his cabin, and he needs to drop it off in one of the coastal towns just around the Panama Canal, I don't know, or the Indian Ocean, I'm not quite sure, but he told me where, and he gave me the address of the place that he wants to leave his stuff, and they'll send it to me. I said, look, I don't want it. He said, well, can you give them the money for the rental or the postage to you? He wanted a couple of thousand. That's when. As soon as he said that, I knew. And then the person that was running this, I don't know what you call it, where he was going to store this fictitious load of jewels and gold, and they emailed me as well, and they were asking me for the money and sending me all the, and then, no, I said to him, actually, I said, I'm rich, but I've got a trust fund, and my minder won't let me do that. I can't do it. I made out that it was out of my hands, and that kept him on for another couple of weeks because he kept trying to persuade me. I thought I'd answer, I got off the hook, but anyway, eventually he disappeared. I've still got all his emails. Gosh, they were clever. He was clever. And I was actually talking about it on my YouTube channel, and everyone was saying, he's not real. But of course, I've got to find out my own way, haven't I? And then I did a search, because there's a channel on YouTube called Catfished. It's called that. Oh, and then when you see the old biddies on there, but they're falling for these young boys. Well, Andreas Hendrix was grey. He was retiring the following week, so he told me, and he was grey and handsome. But when I Googled his picture, because you can do that, you just put the picture in and ask for a web search. There he was on Instagram, living in Canada and in that nice life, and everything his life was great. And I felt so used. And not only that, I felt also that when you get sold a dream, luckily I've never been conned out of any money, but when you get sold a dream, and even if it was only a 4-week dream, I think it was a bit more like 2 months, but when you find out the truth, oh yes, you're relieved, but in your back of your mind you're thinking, oh, and he said that, and he said that as well, so he didn't mean it then. Oh, so that was just patter then. He didn't, in fact, he wasn't the guy in the picture. He was just saying things, and he was a skinny little black con man from Nigeria. And then it kind of, all the things that you believed just blow up in your face. And that happened. And it's put me off Tinder a bit now. Well, there was one that was genuine, but he wasn't for me. Some of them are too needy. Yeah, needy. I don't like needy men. I like men to be a bit, I mean, I would be a great slave master. I would be great if a man, but the thing is, I wouldn't love them. I'd just be a companion. I'd be a good companion. I've no trouble about that, but I really like a man who likes housework and, gets a thrill out of polishing the taps in the kitchen. That would make me so happy. I'd love that. And likes to sleep in a single bed. Oh, what was that thing I saw today? Wait there. Oh, let me see now. Where's the good? Ooh, in a second now. There we are. Good old Cynthia Payne. Do you remember Cynthia Payne? In my 30s, I was doing it. In my 40s, I was organising it. And now, unfortunately, I can only talk about it. Well, yeah, I was bigger than Cynthia Payne. I really was, I'm not just saying that. I had a really busy business. She was running escorts, I believe. Well, we did escorts from the parlour, but at the same time, we had about, an average day would be about 25 customers a day. On a weekend, it would be more like 35 to 40. It was just one after the other, but it's not unfortunate. I'm happy just to talk about it or not talk about it. I would prefer somebody to say, what would you like for your dinner? Would you like beef, lamb, pork or chicken? I'd say, give me lamb. Lamb every time. I love lamb. But, she used to make a lot of money by going on the television and talking about it. And, of course, at the time, I was not involved in it. But now I understand a lot more about what she says, I forgot what else I was going to say. I think that's it now. I'm going to buzz off. And look at that. Lunatic escapes from asylum with baby doll. She pretends it's real. Full story at 11. Everyone's taking the mickey out of Meghan. Oh, have you seen her latest on Instagram? She always provides... Look at this, as ever. Oh, look. It's now released. The Napa, the new... Oh, shut up, I can't have that. The Napa bottle of wine. She did 2023, and she had the sediments of the barrels, and she bottled those and sold them. Hear that plane? Flying over. And now she's on the 2024. So she's releasing the 24 as if it's a brand new wine. No, it isn't. It's just a younger, rancid barrel bottom. And what's that? Oh, God, sometimes I see some terrible things on Instagram and I wish I hadn't seen it. And you know what? As I'm getting older now, I'm starting to avoid looking at bad things. Like there was an article in the newspaper today about a couple, or teenagers I think they were, in court for abusing kittens. I read the heading. There's no way I could read that article. It would upset me too much. And where the hell have they come from to be doing that to an innocent little cat? And it's true. And they grow up, and if they're not taken to task or had their head examined, they're going to end up as murderers of people. Because how the hell you can hurt a little animal? I mean, I'm terribly... I love animals, all animals, even though I saw a crocodile or an alligator the other day. A picture. I didn't like looking at it because I don't like them anyway, but this poor bugger was crossing the road and he'd had his complete tail lopped off. Complete. I mean, the tail is as long as... he looked like a four-legged dog with scales. And he was hobbling across the road and my heart just broke for him because they're a proud animal. They deserve their place in the world, in their own place. I won't bother them ever, I promise, as long as they don't come into my garden, And I love Britain because we've only got one poisonous snake, and that's an adder, and they don't hang around my garden, and I like it that way. But this poor crocodile or alligator, he was trying to get across the road, and somebody took a picture, and it just looked wrong, and I hated to see it because I thought, oh my God, will he die? Will he live? Will he get picked on by other animals? He probably will get killed by another animal. So is it better that maybe somebody puts him out of his misery? I don't like anything. I mean, my trippy's got 3 legs. Whose fault? My fault. I will live with that till the day I die. And if anybody says I spend too much on his food, I know. He's my life. And I genuinely love him. Genuine. Even if he had 4 legs, I'd still love him. But, oh, I see him. And his little tummy now, because he's put on a bit of weight again, his tummy hangs down. He's got like, I thought he had cancer and I took him to the vet and they said, no, it's fat. You've got to keep him on a diet. His fat's coming back. And it comes and it hangs down a bit like a cow's udder. It's really sloppy and waggles back and forth. And I think, that's not right. He shouldn't have to put up with that. So I'm thinking now of strapping him around the haunches of where his one leg is, you know. I got coats that I put on him now and again, but I was thinking of getting this crimp bandage, the elastic ones, and wrapping it around just on top of his one leg, around underneath and around, just a few times, just a bit like a girdle. Yeah, like a cat girdle. The bandages I've got are blue, and I could do that for him, and I think he'd find it a lot easier because as he walks along, it doesn't drag on the floor, but when he sits down, he looks like the Buddha. And I think, oh, it's not that. I think it must be a bit uncomfortable when your stomach is hanging down your legs. Anyway, I'm going to work on that. I'll always think of some ways to make his life a little better. And I've got to give him a bath. He's had one bath earlier on, late last week, but I've got to give him another bath. But he's got a little bit of a cold in his little eye, and he's coughing. So I won't do it just yet, but when it gets better, I'll do that. Anyway, that's all for tonight. Thank you for listening. Oh, did I want to show you Meg? No, we don't really. Well, let's have a little look. There we are. She loves to show. Now, she's got a picture of all her corks. Oh, she's done it that way now. She had all her corks as if to say, look how many bottles I'm going to. That's what she's doing. Oh, for God's sake, don't. Oh, wait a minute. I want to turn the sound off. I can't. Oh, I usually send a laugh. Laughing? How dare you laugh? She's drunk again. Flowers, wine, white shirts. Oh, God, a silly May. She really is. And she's got this page of just corks with her silly handwriting, as if to say, look how many corks I've got. That means I've got that many bottles of wine to sell. No, she hasn't got much. This isn't a proper business. This is a vanity project for people to think she's got a business. This business is never going to make money. The only people buying stuff is the Sussex squad, and they may put their silly tweets up saying how delicious, how wonderful her wine is. The truth is, well, in America especially, I mean, you've got all those vineyards around there. You've got so much choice of wine, and I can't believe that you'd pay $30 for a bottle of piss. Oops. Sorry. It can't be any good. It can't be. I just know it won't be. And her jam, I mean, come on. I mean, how much for $14 or $9 for a pot of runny jam that's loose? Like your bowels are. Oh, sorry, I'm insulted again. Anyway, I'll be back as soon as I can. I'm gonna, no, I didn't. YouTube, they closed my community posts. You weren't able to put a comment up. I found that by suddenly, and I had to go through into the works of the studio and adjust that. I didn't close it off. And then also I had to do a groveling video for YouTube to tell them why I don't think I should be not allowed to monetize. And so I had to do this video, make it unlisted, and send it. Anyway, they made it impossible for me to send it. I won't go into the details how, but I can't send it. And then they unlisted it and put it out onto my YouTube. I've got to get it down. I'm embarrassed. And it's almost like maybe Sarah Data or somebody in the YouTube office have thought, let's make her look like a right fool now, you know. It's not a bad video, it's just a little minute-long video where I'm trying to explain to YouTube why I don't think they should and not allow me to monetize. That's all it is, but I'll put it down now, I'll take it down. Anyway, thanks for listening. It's 12:30 now and I think I can go to bed. Oh, St. Meghan Markle, let's have a look here now. Harry, this is going to keep running and running. A little update on the alerted by Andrew Lowney is the author, The Rise and Fall of the House of York. This is written by someone in Reddit on the St. Meghan Markle page. The now famous extracts, comments that Uncle Andrew made about the creature, that's Abigail Spencer's word, not mine, Meghan Markle. What Uncle Andrew allegedly said. Andrew told Harry that his marriage to Meghan Markle would not last more than a month, and he accused his nephew of going bonkers and not doing any due diligence into her past. He openly accused Meghan of being an opportunist and thought she was too old for Harry, adding that his nephew was making the biggest mistake ever. And then Harry ran off to the lawyers this week and then to Newsweek. Now, Jack Royston, he's very anti-Megxit, or he used to be. He wrote a terrible article about me, and it's still up if you want to find it. And also Ellie Hall. She didn't do me any favours. Me, like a fool, trusted them both. And anyway, Jack Royston is now saying they're gross inaccuracies, and Prince Harry's counsel has been sent to the Mail. In other words, Harry and Prince Andrew didn't have a fisticuffs, but Andrew had a black eye at about the same time Harry had started seeing Meghan. Apparently he had a bloody nose. I haven't got any proof of that, but there is a picture of Andrew's black eye. In fact, we can find it now. All you've got to do is just put in what you want. Prince Andrew's black eye. There you go. There it is. It's a big one. That's a proper shiner. I've had a bigger one. Mind, I had him when my eye went all bloodshot when I fell down the stairs. That was awful. There we are. Let's take a picture of that. There you go. But if that was his right eye, the person that gave him the shiner must have been left-handed. Well, unless he slipped it over his nose and went crashing into his eye. A lot of people would probably say he had that coming. And that's when he told Charles on the left-hand picture. And Charles looked, oh God, look at him there. Do you know, when I was a youngster, in my teens, Andrew was the one I really, fangirled after. I thought he was so handsome and everything. And apparently he thought he was handsome too, because he did a lot of chasing after the girls. Now that I know that. And when he did that interview with Emily Maitlis about his Guthrie incident, he made things so much worse. He's not very bright. Let's face facts. That's it. He's not very bright. And Fergie, she's just a spendthrift. And those two girls, they'll go whichever their side's buttered on. They'll look after themselves first, because as far as Eugenie is concerned, she runs with the hares and the hounds. I think she's playing the game quite well, and Beatrice just keeps out of it, I think. But that's his black eye. Well, good luck to him. Anyway, I'll be back as soon as I can. Yep, thank you. Yep, I'll be back tomorrow anyway. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you for spending some time with me. I had a phone call today off a lovely lady called Christine in Leicester. And I normally don't answer the phone because it gets me down. I've got a stock text that I send to everybody. If they send me a phone from a mobile and I don't know the number, I just say, I do not answer anonymous texts. Please text your identity. So next thing you know, the phone rings again. I thought, oh, Indian call centre, here I go. And and it was a lady from Leicester with a Midlands accent, and she put me on to some apparently really good vapes. And I thought, how kind, how very kind. And I thought, I'll definitely check those out. I'll definitely have a look at those. So thank you very much, Christine. But I really don't normally answer the phone at all. But thank you. And I will. I've already been on the webpage. I've already been on it. And there's a lot of choice. I don't want flavoured ones. I want tobacco flavoured ones. I probably need the strongest ones. They've banned throwaway vapes. I just don't know which to pick. I've always wanted to be a vapor. So if anybody knows how I can get a vape, the best ones, if you can let me know in the comments, I will listen to everything. I'm going to go on to I've saved the webpage anyway. E-vapes, something like e-electronic, something like that, .com. And but I just don't know what's the best one is. I need a good strong one, I know that much. But anyway, if you could let me know, I would be grateful. And thank you very much for listening. Oh, there it is. I can say goodbye on here. Oh, hang on, where is it? Yeah, thanks for listening. I'll probably be back tomorrow. I'm getting back in the swing of it now. I'm feeling a bit more confident. And thank you for making my life so easy. I'm really grateful for that. See you tomorrow or the day after. Cheerio!